Hello, St. Bernards. Are you having a good day? I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror, someone was moving, and I was the only one in the room. I knew it would be a good day. So who was this someone in my mirror? Who was this someone in your mirror? We usually identify this person by name. Our names are incredibly important and part of our identity. They carry deep personal, cultural, familial, and historic connections. They also give us a sense of who we are, the communities in which we belong, and our place in the world. The Mac, as in MacDonald, is the Gaelic for son, and the Irish O, as in O'Malley, means grandson of. In the Gospel of Matthew, we hear Jesus' genealogy starting from Abraham. And in the Gospel of Luke, we hear another account of the lineage of Jesus from his birth all the way back to God the Father. Lineage is important to show the right of inheritance. Jesus had a legal right to the throne of David. And as I said earlier, our names are important, thereby our lineage and an important part of our lives. The word lineage or line is an interesting point. For the most part, we have a nice straight line to our ancestors. However, I need to ask, is our life all that straight, or do we have bumps and curves on our road that cause us to become broken? If your answer is no, I would challenge you and say, you're fooling yourself. The truth is, we are all broken. Our lives do not follow the straight line. From Psalm 34, verse 19, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, saves those whose spirit is crushed. So let me ask again, who was that someone in your mirror? Who was the someone in my mirror? In our wasteful, consumeristic society, we throw broken things away. And here's the dilemma. If we are all broken, do we throw ourselves away? We invent things to straighten out our insecure humanity. However, if we are honest with ourselves, these inventions to fix our brokenness end in failure. So we don't know what to do with our broken lives. What do we do with broken people? Broken relationships, broken institutions, broken families, and of course, our very own broken selves. We can take a lesson from the Japanese 15th century art form, kintsugi, essentially pottery that has been broken. Instead of being discarded, it is painstakingly put back together with a mixture of gold and glue. The resulting artwork, although now changed, is much more beautiful than the original piece. The practice of kintsugi is related to the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi, which calls for seeing beauty in something that is flawed or imperfect. And the repair method, was also born from the Japanese of feeling mutini, which expresses regret when something is wasted, as well as mushini, the acceptance of change. From his book, Life is Messy, Matthew Kelly proposes an interesting question. He says, this is an important question, but a more beautiful question holds the answer. Can something that has been broken be put together in a way that makes it more beautiful than ever before? It may seem like an impossible proposition to our straight line, everything in its place secular minds. We invent right angles and straight lines to prop up our insecure humanity. But I marvel at how God doesn't use straight lines or right angles in nature. We can draw an important life lesson from Sungi art form. They don't pretend the pottery has ever been broken. The first step to our healing brokenness is to admit to us being broken. If we stick our heads into the sand, how can we see our brokenness? Secondly, with our head in the sand, how can we recognize the brokenness in our neighbor? When we pretend not to be broken, our true self hides in fear and shame, the fear of being discovered and the shame of not being enough. The Kunzi art form teaches us in this most beautiful lesson, we are each other's broken and wounded healers. We all possess the mixture of gold and glue necessary to put other people back together. Our mixture is love, connection, acceptance, generosity, community, and kindness. Unfortunately, we still hang on to the false notion that we are not broken. We must allow the cracks to show because that is where the light comes in. As I stated earlier, the first step towards healing is understanding our brokenness. The actress Portia Nelson, who played Sister Bertha in The Sound of Music, did a brilliant job in this insight in her work entitled Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters. In 150 words, she provides piercing insight into the journey of life. I know these words resonated for me, and as I read them, imagine the road and the holes in our own life's journey. An autobiography in 5 short chapters. Chapter 1. I walk down the road. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I cannot believe I am in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same road. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Again, borrowing from Matthew Kelly, someone who has been broken and healed can be more beautiful and more loved than ever before. Embracing this truth is liberating, but it is easier to do once we recognize it's okay to be broken. It's normal, in fact, part of the human condition. Once we embrace this truth, we are on our way to hope. When we reject it, we are on our road to despair. Can someone who has been broken be healed and become more beautiful and more lovable than ever before? Who is the ultimate healer? As we learned in Kunsigi, we as humans have the mixture of gold and glue to heal others. Jesus came to earth, who, though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God something to be grasped. Rather, he emptied himself taking the form of a slave, coming in human likeness, and found in human appearance. Jesus, as our brother, is the ultimate kunsigi artist, with the best mixture of glue and gold. From Psalm 139, "You formed my innermost being. You knitted me in my mother's womb. I praise you, because I am wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My very self you know. My bones are not hidden from you. When I was being made in secret, fashioned in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw me unformed. In your book are all written down. My days were shaped before one came to be." Admitting brokenness is the first step to healing. Remember, the crack is where the light comes in. Thank you.